All right. Gonna be reviewing week 3 of the winter season. So technically, this is a little bit different. This week is only 6 days because I changed it to Mondays, which I'm gonna hopefully continue to do every Monday because basically Monday has the least amount of animes that come out. Uh, Other than Friday. Friday I only have like 3, and Mondays is 4 technically, but like since I'm reviewing the last week, this is the beginning of the week, so it makes sense. But yeah, so we switched it from Tuesday to Monday. So this week's only gonna be 6 days. It's Wednesday from last week through Monday today, and then we're gonna be hopefully moving forward doing Tuesday through Monday for reviews. So with that being said, Wednesday is the very first day, and Oshinoko season 3 is here. It's back, and I thought this was a pretty solid episode. The only yo, what's up, Chris? I actually just started, bro. We're talking about Oshinoko. So feel free to add anything you want in the chat. But Oshinoko, this was a pretty solid episode, basically getting back into things. And for me personally, I really enjoyed how the way that they eased our way back into the story because it's been like 2 years. And I was like, I kind of need some, a refresher sort of thing. So I was like, okay, like this is a good episode to get us back into the story. Nothing too crazy happened. We had Aqua's thing near the very end. Yes, the opening was good too, and so that was one thing that confused me because I thought that at first it was like the actual opening, but apparently that was just like a song in that episode, and then the actual opening was at the end of the episode. But like I was saying with Aqua, it was basically like he sort of in a way confessed his feelings for Kana. I don't know exactly if he's like I don't even know if he believes it himself because it's almost like a sense of everything, all the psychological trauma and damage that he's had over the years is like, he doesn't know his own feelings, if that makes sense. So it's sort of like, does he really like Kana or does he not like Kana? I don't know. I mean, I saw a bunch of people saying, yeah, this was basically him saying he liked her. And I took that like 50%, but the other 50% was like me thinking, oh, he's just like looking out for her, like her reputation as an idol. Because that's what he told Mem. Is that her name, Chris? Is it Mem or something? The girl that's a lot older than she's like 6 to 8 years older than all of them, I think, somewhere in that ballpark. So yeah, it was a really good episode, and I'm glad Oshinoko is back. Shiba Yugi, episode 2, playing death games to put food on the table. This was a good setup episode for the next death game. I like how uh there's a lot of questions of Yuki and her meaning, like why is she doing these games? Why does she want to do it 99 times? Is she lying to the other girls about this being her 10th game, or is it actually her 29th game following the game from the first episode? uh so yeah, I like how things are setting up. I love the psychological horror part of it, like, ma'am, okay, got you, yeah. uh but yeah, like, I like how things are setting up for the season. And I don't know how many death games we're gonna be getting because that was one thing I was wondering. I was like, well, so this is supposed to be 11 episodes. The first episode was one death game, and based off the second episode, the next episode is gonna continue the second death game. So I was thinking, well, maybe the last 10 episodes would be like 2 episodes each, so maybe another 5 death games. That's my, like, assumption. I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, I'm curious to see more, so that one is a really good, yeah. It's really good, and I think it's doing the because like some people might say like, "Oh, yes, sir, the boy's live." Um, Basically with the whole blood thing. So like, some people were complaining about this, which I don't understand. They're saying like, "Oh, they're taking away from the goriness of the because the blood is like cotton." That's how they like perceive it. It looks like cotton. To me, I don't think that takes away from anything that they're doing with the writing and the psychological horror that we're getting with the story. I think most of the time, psychological horror is a lot more interesting than just like, oh, we're cutting people down, there's blood everywhere. Like that stuff's cool and all, but like I like to see like the characters like go through these things like in their own head. Like they're thinking of like, oh, like how do I get out of this situation sort of thing? How do I work with these other girls to find our way out sort of thing? So that's something I think the show is strongest at. I find it a lot more interesting than in terms of like, oh, if they just like all killed each other, which that's one thing I'm wondering with Yuki is because she's pretty selfish, to be honest. I was talking to a good friend of mine, The Alchemist, and she made a video talking about Shiba Yugi, and I was like, I don't know whether or not to I guess fully trust Yuki. Excuse me, because I feel like she's very selfish, and she is. So that's the thing. We don't know the reason. We don't know why she's doing these games. There could be something like in her life outside of these games. She could have a sick family member, and she's playing these games to make enough money to help them with the hospital bills and stuff like that, right? Like we don't know. So that's one thing I really enjoy about the story, and I'm excited to see more of that one. Jack of all trades, episode 3. I honestly don't remember Chris. If you can think of what happened, I honestly don't remember because this is one of those shows. Shit, you can't trust anyone in a death game. Yeah, you can't because they're all. It seems like they're all in it for themselves, really, if you really think about it. Because yeah, like they're working together, but each of them are kind of like making their own moves, if that makes sense. Like especially Yuki, and especially the leader. I forget her name with the blonde hair, but you can kind of tell that like they're on their own. That's definitely what it feels like. Yeah. So that's another thing I enjoy about it is because like it adds more drama to the characters and like this problem that they're having of like, oh, we're in this thing, we need to escape. So that's something I really enjoy. And so, like I was gonna say, Jack of all trades. I don't fully remember what happened in the episode. It's one of those that I'm just watching to watch, pretty much. So, like, each week there's not gonna be much for me to say on it. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I watched that, and probably move on unless something crazy happens. But other than like Silva and Quad, I don't think there's really anyone else that's like really like enjoying that too much. Because it's a very generic anime. So I'm kind of just like, it is what it is. Next, we got the 29-year-old adventurer. Okay, two things about this one. One, like I said in that one video, all I gotta say is Veronica. That's all I gotta say about that. And two, I like how they went the wholesome route with the girl, and how because a lot of people were speculating after the first episode that like, oh, they're gonna do something sexual while she's a little girl. I'm like, I don't see that happening. I know that, excuse me, there's like all these like tropes or whatever, of like younger girls in anime. But like, I didn't see that happening. I saw it as if they were to do anything together, it would be when she's an adult. And there is still the possibility of that happening, but I don't think it'll happen anytime soon. I think it's more so a thing of like, basically, it's like a father-daughter relationship, and it would be nice if they keep it that way. I don't know whether or not things are gonna change when she gets older, like, actually older and not just, like, grows older, uh, as a succubus. But, yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. Easygoing Territory Defense, episode 2. This was a pretty good episode. I'm actually enjoying this one a lot more than I thought I was going to. I don't know about you, Chris, but the thing is, like, I really like how he's given this one territory that he has to take over, and that's what he's like truly focused on. I like how it's not this one thing of like, oh, he's the king of all these nations in this giant kingdom, and he has to oversee all of it. I like how it's basically just like, you're a young boy, but you're also like royalty, so you need to like oversee something. So here's this one territory over here, and like some people, I guess in the characters in the story would be like, oh, like, sort of thing. But he also has like all of these other characters that are basically backing him up, right? He's got Esperada, the butler. He's got D. He's got that one. Was she a witch or a mage? That one woman with the glasses. Like he's got a bunch of people backing him up, and I really enjoy Esperada and D. I think they're really good characters. in the one scene where it was the two of them and Van all like standing side by side, and they were like reassuring to the people in there that like, hey, we're here to basically save you, because they saved them from those people that were like trying to break in or whatever. So it was a really good episode. I like that one more than the blind sorcerer one. Yes, that's another thing, because I think in terms of the anime community, a lot more people are talking about Kunan the Sorcerer Can See a lot more than Easygoing Territory Defense. And I don't know, like Easygoing Territory Defense is better written, in my opinion. And the whole thing with Kunan is, for all the episodes except yesterday's, I didn't find it funny whenever they would try to tell a joke, or it was supposed to be funny. I didn't find it funny at all. Um, and I didn't really like the switch up of his character, and the same with I keep forgetting his fiance's name, but like Marina or whatever the fuck it is. Uh, so I like how in the new episode things like kind of took a different turn. In my opinion, I think it was a lot funnier, and I think that the role that I forget her name already, but the one woman that was basically like his teacher in this episode, I like the role they had, because she was basically just like, "Hey, like I'm gonna teach you, but let's have fun," and that was something that I enjoyed there as well. But we'll get into that one a little bit later. Um, I think that was pretty much everything I had to say about easygoing territory defense. Timon's B side. What I mainly remember, because it's almost been a week, is Ori and how he basically abuses Timon, because it's like this whole thing of like on stage, because the same thing with him, like when they're on stage, they have a different persona than how they are in real life. So like on stage, he's like, all happy and dancing and singing with him, basically upholding his reputation. But like when he's not performing and he's like in his apartment, it's one of those things that he's basically just like abusing him and scolding him and telling him what to do, because he takes advantage of his personality. He knows that he is kind of a wimp outside of performing as an idol. So like he basically takes advantage of him. And she, bro, the one scene in the elevator when she was like basically like pinning him against the wall, and she was like, "Yo, if you treat him like that again, I'm gonna kick your ass." Like that was a really cool episode, or oh yeah, episode, but also a really cool scene in the episode, and I enjoyed that a lot. Uh, he's freaking nasty. Yeah. Oh, hey Casey, what's up? Yeah, she is awesome, because I like how she stands up for him. I like how she doesn't act like everyone else does. They see him. I mean, like it's like half and half. Like she partially does. Like she's a fan of him, and she has these parts where she's freaking out and stuff like that, because I was like, oh my gosh, he's like right in front of me. But at the same time, like she also sees him as a human being, because she sees his natural side. So she basically treats him like a human being. So that's something I enjoy about the show. Hell Teacher season 2 episode 2. I honestly don't remember what happened in this episode. uh Quad would probably remember, but yeah, I don't remember what happened in the episode. Gentle Noble's Vacation, I think that's what it's something like that. It's one of those that I'm just throwing on to watch, because it's like, the first episode was okay. Second episode was better, but like nothing crazy's happening. And yes, I know there's like the gay undertones in it and stuff like that. If it were to get too extreme, then I would drop it. But oh, you just started that one. Okay. Yeah, bro, it's okay. It's not the best. It's far from the best. But I wouldn't say it's the worst. I feel like the worst would be one that I've already dropped. And this one I actually enjoy a little bit, not that much, but so yeah, those were all the animes on Wednesday. Thursday we're getting into some good ones. Yeah, it's all right so far. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. But Thursday, okay, so Sentenced to Be a Hero episode 2. There was this there was this discussion, the week before, that people were like, "Oh, the animation's not going to hold up, blah blah blah, whatever." I honestly didn't pay that any mind. I was like, I'll just watch the episode and see for myself. And I'm sure it's going to be great, and it was. And we're starting to get more into the world and the lore, and one thing that like really like, I don't know if tugged at my heartstrings is the right phrasing here, but I guess that is the right phrasing. It was the whole thing with the daughter, and how her father was one of the miners that went inside. And as we know, there's a demon blight in there, and it turned them into fairies. And I don't know if the father was one of them or if he's still alive somehow, because there is, yeah, that part did suck because it's like, another thing, it was her birthday. Like that was something else that made it worse. So she was like, "Oh, it's my birthday." And she was like, begging Xylo, to help her father escape out of the cave or whatever. And so, like, I guess there is still a chance of that happening because we don't know exactly whether or not that he was one of them that they ended up killing, because they killed a bunch of them. And the one guy, I forget his name already, forgive me, but he had basically been resurrected so many times that he was just out of his mind. It would just, when it came to fighting, he was just focused on fighting. What is your thought on the Demon Blight being less Demon Blight and more left over from the war? Um, what do you mean by that? Being less Demon Blight? I'm trying to think here. Maybe I'm just stupid and not understanding what you're asking. Like, instead of Demon Blight. You mean like how it's a mix of like Demon Blight and Tatsuya, wasn't okay, yeah, Tatsuya was his name. Folks are saying it was a result of maybe chemical warfare. Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, maybe I misunderstood what happened in the episode. That I thought that because I thought they referenced the Demon Blight, and I thought he was in there, or it was in there, and I thought that's what turned them into it, but maybe not. Chemical warfare. Okay, I got you. Um, I think it's still cool. Like I still like how it's basically the effects of it, right? Like it's correlated. Maybe it's not necessarily that, but Quad mentioned something from Silva's vid. Oh, okay. I didn't see that at all. Did you see the tank? I might have missed the tank, Casey. Uh, dang. I don't remember the tank. I might have completely overlooked that part. Oh, you did too? Okay. Yeah. Tell Quad I'm sorry, but okay, okay, send it to me. Okay. Yeah, cuz I don't remember that part at all. But was it outside of the mine or the cave, whatever it was? Was it outside? Like before they went in? Maybe. That's what I'm Yes, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I think I do remember now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do remember that. Was that part of like leftover from the war? Is that what you were saying? Is that like where the tank came from? I think so. The pieces are like slowly coming back in my head. That's what you're thinking? Okay. Yeah, that's a good theory. I like that. Um, I think there would obviously, with everybody that died, there was going to be a lot of equipment and different things that were left, um, and they're just going to rust away. I guess it's radiation poison. Mm, okay, yeah. So there could be some stuff that was like contaminated, pretty much. You're probably right, to be honest. Um, I think if the stuff was contaminated and people like came across it, then they would be affected, right? It's a good shot in the dark. I like it. I like that theory. I didn't even think about that. I was just focused on what happened in the mine and stuff. I didn't even think about the tank. But that is a good theory. I do like that. And I guess that could be something where it's not necessarily like you were saying, like it doesn't have to be the demon blight specifically, but it could just be some stuff that was like touched by it, and then someone else touches it and it kind of passes on that way. So that would be pretty cool if that is the truth. I like that. I like that you pointed it out. Thank you. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, so this episode, Tatsuya, we were talking about Tatsuya and how he basically just like out of his mind and he's like, you know, locked in, bro. Like when it's time to fight, he just fights. I love that. And I do wonder if it could get to the point where, say they were to figure out who, because we're still trying to figure out who caused the whole thing with Xylo and the former goddess Sinerva. I want to make sure I get her name right, Sinerva, because I said Serena in my at the beginning of my reaction, but Sinerva. if we find out like who did that, if there's a way to reverse the whole sentence to be a hero thing and like maybe get his memories, I don't know if it would be, you know, past the point of where he would able to be able to get his memories back or not. He might just be too far gone at this point and just there's no saving him. But I really like his character so far, and I still like Tia Rita. Some people don't like her. I think she's hilarious, and I love how she interacts with Xylo and how she just, you know, she just wants to be his friend. Like, you know, she just wants him to be her knight, and I like that. I think he just too far gone. Yeah, probably, bro. Maybe I was just it was just wishful thinking on my part. I was kind of hoping that like, oh, like there might be a way to save him, but maybe not. Um, Probably not, to be honest. So, the Holy Grail of Eris, that was the next one we're going to talk about. Um, so there was this guy that was if I remember correctly, he was engaged to this woman that was murdered, or yeah, they say that she committed suicide, but what we see is like it was most likely murder. And so we're trying to figure out who did it, and he's like hiding something. He had this like note hidden under or like on the side of a picture frame or something that was on the wall. And so we're trying to figure that out. And not gonna lie, that one of my shit so far. Yeah, I really like it. I think it's definitely gonna be underrated. Like only a couple of us, like Art, Casey, Quad, Silva, like only a couple of us are gonna be talking about it, which is kind of sad. Uh, because it's pretty good so far. But one of the things I was gonna point out how I really, really enjoy is whenever Scarlet takes over Constance's body, or I might just call her Connie to make it easier. When she takes over Connie's body, I enjoy that a lot because it's basically just like she turns her personality completely around. And that's something I enjoy because like you have all these freaking people that are like coming to her and you know they're all breathing down her neck, they're up her ass, and they're like, bro, like, you know, kind of back off here a little bit. But she won't say or do anything about it. And so when Scarlet takes over, she's like, I got you. Like, I'll take over here. And so she like talks her talk, like she makes them back up and she's like, "Yo, you better you better stop what you're doing." So yeah, I really enjoy that aspect of their characters and how Scarlet um like takes over her consciousness and stuff like that. So that's something I enjoy, and I'm looking forward to the next episode of that. The Invisible Man and his soon-to-be wife. I know Casey loves this one. I really like this one as well. It took me by surprise how much I liked it because beforehand I was a little bit questionable, sort of thing. Yeah, I know you love this one. Uh, so my thing is, I really enjoy their interactions. Like when they go on dates and stuff, it's so wholesome and so cute, and that's something that I really enjoy. And also I'm not gonna remember his name. Casey, you might know his name, but the guy in the office with the black hair, he has a partner. My thinking was he was gonna end up with, yeah, that was a good episode. My thinking was he was gonna end up with the Beast Woman, which I forget her name as well. But that was my thinking. I was like, oh, like, you know, we got this office of four people, two males, two females. Like maybe this will end up being a double couple thing. Yeah, he is pretty funny. I like how he's so like nonchalant. And I think there was the one scene where he gave, man, what is I'm forgetting all the names, man. But he gave him like a bunch of date ideas or something. Yeah, I love how they handle her blindness too. I really love that too. Um, you know, they treat her well, and that's something I enjoy because you know there would be some people that would be like, "Oh, she's blind," and you know some people are just, you know, vile and just make fun of others and stuff like that. But it's like these characters like really care for her and are looking out for her. And another thing about the episode was when they were on the date. Yeah, it's just a normal thing. Yeah, they treat her normal, and that's something I enjoy. But another thing is like when they were on the date and they were in a restaurant where like the lights were off, and he had this flashback of when he was a kid and he was like on a camp with the school and he was like left out in the woods. And so because he was invisible and you know none of them realized he was gone, and so he had like a, you know, like a PTSD moment there where he was like, you know, kind of having a heart attack almost. Oh, the elves. Yeah, okay, I'll get to that in a second, Quad. I just want to finish this part here real quick with the with him in the dark and stuff. I really enjoyed that and how like, then they left and went to his apartment. And now they're officially dating. But yeah, so the elves, I thought that was funny too because the dad was pretty funny and he has not given the blessing to the dark elf. Bro, talk about some relatable PTSD of when you feel invisible. Yeah. There I guess, when you're a very shy person, I feel like I'm pretty shy for the most part. There's been times throughout my life where, like, I felt like I wasn't seen or something, like people might not see me or whatever. Middle kid syndrome. Yeah, I do think it's something that's relatable, and I like that as well. But the elf part was pretty funny, and yeah, honestly, dude, this was one I'm looking forward to. I'm a sucker for romance, and I'm excited to see more of it. Um, so yeah, that was the second episode of that. Next, we got now this one was pretty controversial actually. JJK season 3, episode 3. So for me, this one I loved. I really like how legit it gives the warm and fuzzy. Yeah, it does. I love the ones that make you feel warm inside and make you feel happy. If I remember correctly, the Invisible Man name should be Akira Toname. Oh, okay. Okay, I should remember Akira. That's a pretty common name in anime. Yeah, I know, Quad. You think it was a snooze fest. You didn't like JJK because they spent the whole episode explaining things. I love how they did it. I love how they broke things down and how one of the things I really really liked was the diagrams. And I know that was a difference from the manga. Um, so maybe that's what helped make it easier to follow along and understand. They didn't have to use the whole episode. I don't know. I don't know. I really liked it. I know a lot of people don't. Yo, what's up, Rengoku? What's up? We're talking about JJK season 3, episode 3 right now. So like a lot of people complained about it. They were saying like, yeah, like the whole episode, they didn't need to take the whole episode. Um, which I guess in a sense I can understand where people are coming from, but for me, my personal enjoyment, I liked how they took the whole episode because now I understand everything. I had like 5% that I didn't know, and the quad like cleared that up for me because I asked him. But it was a really good episode, and it was rated a 7.7, which you could look at that as a good rating, or you could look at it as there was people that watched it, and because there was no action, they put it at a lower rating, so that made it drop a little bit. So you could look at it from both sides, I think, and I don't know. For me personally, I loved it. I'm excited, and I know we're getting Maki versus the Zenin clan next episode, which I know everybody's gonna love that. And so yeah, I'm excited. Worst rating of the week, which is kind of wild. Yeah, that is crazy because I feel like something like I don't know, the freaking Misanthrope one on Saturdays or something would be like a horrible rating because they're like I'm watching it, but it is kind of weird. I kind of just watch it to watch it, and I'll get to that once we get to Saturdays. But yeah, JJK I liked, and I know it's a very controversial one that people, some people don't like. Watch it all the way, man. I like Watch It All the Way. I know you don't like the age gap thing and how you're when you expect no fan service, we're getting fan service that throws you off for some for some reason. But I like it. I like it, man. And I'll get to that near the end because today's the last day that I'll be covering. So Roll Over and Die. That was the next one on Thursdays. I loved this episode. This episode was dark, and I love how Flum is basically learning new skills and she's becoming stronger as she goes. She had to fight this werewolf Chimera that was like twice her strength because her stats are 995, if I remember correctly. And the werewolf Chimeras was like 1800 something because it combined with a bunch of other ones. The fight was dope. Yeah, the fight was really good. And the part where she had to cut off her arm was really cool. Now, for me, hell yeah, bro, that up was great. It was. And that's the thing. Uh, I love how gory it is and how dark it is. It's one of the very few ones this season that are like that. And for me, the whole scene with her cutting off her arm, low key, like, bro, that had me like flustered because I was like, why are you going so slow? Someone was like, oh, it's not that easy to cut off the bone. I was like, it is when you have a fucking demon sword. Like, bro, I was like, yo, just take your arm and cut it off, man. I don't know, but she can regenerate, so like her arm came back anyway. But yeah, I really like this show. I like her reversal skill that she has and how um now one thing I was confused about, maybe Quad, you could clear this up for me because I was confused a little bit, was the fact that she has a reversal skill, but she was still being affected with the melting thing, right? From the werewolf Chimera. Unless I'm not remembering that right, but I think that's what it was. So I was like, the same thing is happening to her, and maybe you could clear that up for me because I was a little bit confused on that. But other than that, I'm enjoying the story, and I know this is all supposed to be like a have some romance in it, but like so far, we haven't even seen that. We've just been focusing on the death, or not death, the dark fantasy part of it and the revenge part. So I'm excited to see the revenge and what else is gonna happen. Yeah, I'm not sure why the first time worked on herself, but not the second time. Yeah, that was what confused me because I was like, yeah, it is a Yuri, which I think is it the girl from her former party that she uh I don't know if you've read the manga or not, or light novel, whichever it is. But I think she ends up with her, because the way that they teased it in the first episode was like she had feelings for that girl. But then she like in her eyes, she perceived that the whole team betrayed her. So she was like, "Oh, like she doesn't like me like that." So now she's just focused on revenge, pretty much. But yeah, I'm excited to see more of that. Anyway, I'm falling in love with you, season 2, episode 2. I know that like hardly anyone is watching this. Um, I actually, now that I think about it, I might actually drop it. And Chris, I don't know if you saw it, if you're still watching it, but for me personally, I did not know, and nothing against this if you enjoy this, but I did not know that there was going to be BL in it. Um, that threw me off. The very end of the episode. You are watching it. What did you think of the end of the episode, bro? Because for me personally, that threw me off. Kind of like a what the fuck kind of moment, and I don't know if I'm gonna keep watching now because, like I said, nothing against it, but I personally don't like BL. So I don't think I'm gonna keep watching it, but I know a couple people. Oh, is my camera out of focus a little bit? Okay. My bad, y'all. Sometimes it goes like that. I don't know why. Let's see here. There we go. It's focused again. Okay. So wait, you mean something you didn't expect in the series might throw you off? When it's something I don't like, you like fan service. I don't know why you're like thrown off so much about fan service in a show that you wouldn't think would have fan service. I don't like BL, so I don't want to see it. The age gap. Yeah, I understand that. I just think that they're gonna wait. I don't see them getting together when he's still 16. And I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll admit I was wrong. But I don't see that happening. But yeah, that's my whole thing. Is like I don't like BL. That's why I'm not. Uh, that's why I don't want to keep watching it. Yeah, you were surprised as well. That's what I'm saying. Because like I wasn't expecting something to where like if it feels like it's a reverse harem, and I think it's written that way. And so like all these guys that she grew up with would be possible love interest, but not the guys together, sort of thing. So, I don't know. Yes, it did throw me off a little bit, and I probably won't keep watching it because of that. But that's just my personal preference. I don't like watching BL, so I don't want to see anything of it. So yeah, that one's probably going to be one that I drop. But Champ Witch episode 3, this was one that really, really, really surprised me because Quad, you can attest to this. The first episode was pretty boring. Second episode got a little bit better. There was some stuff that like made it kind of kind of mid maybe. But the third episode, I absolutely loved. I love the story they're telling. Out of left field, that third episode. Yes, I agree. I love the story they're telling with this Black Witch Council and how they're basically like, hey, you're taking in this cursed, what do they call it? Cursed youngling. I think that's what they call him. Because she used to be one as well. We found that out at the end of the episode. But they come here and they're like, hey, like this is a cursed youngling. Like we need to get rid of this guy. I don't know if they plan on killing him or like locking him away or what they plan on doing with him. But she, because she has a kind heart and also the fact that she used to be one herself, she wants to keep him. She wants to take care of him, and that's something that I really like the story of how they're going with this. One thing that wasn't a fan of was the character designs. Oh, because he turns into the end of all things, I guess. Oh, okay, yeah. Excuse me. I do remember that they mentioned that Um, which was didn't she take that wasn't that the thing that she removed out of him? Or am I wrong about I think I might be wrong about that because they were telling a story about the end of all things, and it wasn't the thing that she took out of it. Oh, it was the thing, okay. It was a thing. Okay, yeah, so he doesn't even have it anymore. It's within herself now. She basically took it out of him with her magic, and now it's within her. Um, the only thing I didn't like was the character designs of the Black Witch Council. I thought they all looked goofy. Whatever hats or whatever they got on their heads, just low key looks really stupid, if I'm being honest. But something like that is nothing near enough to take me out of the story that they're telling. I love the story so far. So yeah, I'm excited for more of that. Very OP design. Yeah. Yeah, there was some like One Piece sort of feelings from the way that they were drawn and stuff like that. Like you said before, the first two episodes you mentioned about One Piece and Ghibli. So yeah, that's something that I don't care for, but besides that, I really like the story. I like gosh, what is her name? The MC, whatever her name is. I suck at names. Uh, but yeah, I like her as well. So I'm excited for more of that. So that was it for Thursdays. Friday, which is my number one day. Luna. Okay, thank you. Luna's her name. I like how you remember the names, man, because like I don't remember them. Uh, but Fridays is my favorite for two reasons. Number one is Frieren. Um, I am so happy that Frieren is back, and I'm so excited to see this season, despite it being 10 episodes. But I know that's because of the manga being on hiatus, so we don't want to catch up too fast. So yeah, I'm excited to see more, and I really liked how Fern and Stark's relationship is developing even further. Freer Day, yeah, Free Day. Um, I refer to Fridays as Frieren Fridays and as Fire Force Fridays, which is the second reason why Fridays is my number one day, which we'll get to in a couple minutes. But Freerun, I love the vibes that you get from Freerun. I'm so happy that it's back, and it's one of those like Casey was saying, like it makes you feel all like warm and fuzzy inside, and like you actually feel like you're on an adventure with them. Queen of the side quests. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, that was the nickname Art gave Freerun. Yeah, that was a good one. Art's pretty good at coming up with like stuff like that. Because it is like you could look at it as like, oh, these are side quests, but the way that they do it is so well. Like they're I don't find them boring at all. I love how we're going with it. You don't like it, Casey? Oh no. I love Freerun. I know a lot of people find it boring and it's not for everybody, but me personally, I think it's done really well. Oh, you love it. Oh, like a saw, like a like this is like really good. Okay, I got you. I miss Yeah, it makes your brain go, okay, I got you, yeah. Like Wuza? I don't think I've ever heard of that before. Um, but yeah, the vibes you get from it is really good, and one of the things I wanted to point out, I started to talk about a little bit, Fern and Stark's development with the relationship, and I really like how in the part where Stark was carrying them away, running away from that, frog thing, whatever it was, and how she was, like, scared, and she was holding onto the bracelet that he bought her. I loved that so much. Love the color pencil closing. Yeah, I am very impressed at that. Um, they were I saw a comparison of that and Kuma in One Piece's backstory when they were showing that. It was both, like, hand drawn with the colored pencil. I love that. I think it was, beautifully done, and the ending song is great as well. I think it's the same person that did the ending song of season 1. Them hand drawing that outro is freaking insane. It really is. It's super impressive, and I love when art is, like, done organically and they don't use AI and shit like that. Like, yeah, sure, like, I understand AI can help enhance things and stuff like that. I'm not saying, like, it's the worst thing ever, but, like, I really, really enjoy when stuff is, like, hand drawn. That's why I love '90s anime animation and art style so much because it's all hand drawn. It's like actual art that they did. Yes, tears in the link between him carrying his party was a tug at the heart. Yes, that's another thing that I absolutely love is every single time when Madhouse doesn't outsource, they kill it. Yeah, yeah, they do an amazing job. And one thing I absolutely love about what Casey was saying with the parties, whenever Frieren is with Fern Stark, and she has something that is happening. She remembers back to when she was with Himmel and the others, and basically it's like a parallel. Like they both relate to each other, and I love that. I love how she thinks of her former party when she is with them, and they're going through something that she went through with them as well. So yeah, Wanda, I don't even want to talk about that, man. That I watched one episode of that. I know you kept watching a little bit more. I watched one episode. I was like, yeah, this is booty cheeks. I dropped it. So yeah, not a fan of that. But anyway, with Fearin, her memories every time that she relates to. I love that. I love Fern Stark's relationship. I just love everything about it. To me, it's a perfect anime. I know some people might say like, "Oh, it's not like it's good, but it's not perfect." To me, it's perfect. I love it, and I'm excited to see this season and what all is going to happen. They're heading up north, and I think they're going to fight some demons up there, because they kind of tease that in this episode. So I'm excited to see more of Frieren. Next up, we have Dark Moon, the Blood Altar. This second episode was actually a lot more interesting than the first, and I think the first was basically just like our getting into it sort of thing. I want to spoil a small thing that happens this season. Oh no, please don't spoil. No spoilers, please. I really like how Fern Stark's relationship is helping open Fearon's eyes to how she felt about Himmel and how Fern is learning from Fearon's regrets. Yes, that's another thing. Fearon is learning things as she goes, and that's another beautiful thing about her character in the way that she is written is that because beforehand she's like she just saw life as something as time passing by. She didn't think of it as like, oh, memories are important, friends are important, and now that they have all passed away and she has this new party with her new friends, it's basically like, oh, like now she realizes how much life means and how beautiful it is. And that's something I enjoy so much about the story of Frieren. Yes, it was. Yeah. And also how Art said, Fern is learning from Frieren's regrets. I like that as well. She's kind of watching Frieren and observing her and realizing that, not necessarily, I guess you could look at it as she doesn't want to make the same mistakes, not to like go too harsh on Frieren and her decisions and stuff like that. But like, yeah, like there has been stuff like she wasn't aware of, so she didn't know. And so Fern is seeing that and realizing like, hey, like I can do things a little bit differently here. Now I still think she has a lot to learn. Uh, it's slowly getting to the point where her and Stark are like, getting along more and stuff like that. But they're still like they did tease them in this episode of them like arguing because he like came over to fish or whatever while they were like bathing and she was like pervert. So uh yeah, I mean they still have the constant teasing a little bit, which is still like I love that. I think it's very enjoyable and it's funny. But I think it will eventually get to the point of where like the two of them are gonna realize their feelings and they're not, yo, Silva, what's up, man? We're talking about Freeman right now. I don't know if you watched the new episode yet. You might be waiting for the dub, maybe. Um, did you catch her saying, "I'm not mad"? Yeah, yeah, I did catch that. No, you didn't see it yet? Okay. Are you waiting for the dub, Silva? I've kind of figured you're waiting on the dub. If you are, then I'll wrap up what I was saying about Freeman and move on to the next thing so we don't spoil too much. Um, okay, you are waiting for the dub. Okay. What was I saying? So basically just like Fern and how she's observing Freeman and stuff like that. So I enjoy everything about it and we'll move on so we don't spoil too much for Silva. Silva's the man who's slowly becoming cultured. Yes, man. Silva is finally opening his eyes and starting to watch more romances and stuff like that. And as a as your younger brother, Silva, I'm proud of you. So I'm proud that you're expanding your horizons more and watching more genres and stuff like that. So yeah, so I love Frieren, and so I actually started to discuss this one, Dark Moon, the Blood Altar. Episode 2 was a lot better than episode 1 because episode 1 was basically the introduction phase, like, oh, we're meeting these new characters. But then the second episode, we get this whole thing of like a murder mystery. We also have the one character with the blue hair who is a hybrid of a werewolf and a vampire. I thought that was really freaking cool. Um, and so the romances are starting to blossom as well, and I'm enjoying it. I know, man, slowly art slowly. Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, Dark Moon. I like if anyone else has anything to add to it, I'm really really liking it, and I'm excited to see more. Because at first I was like, oh, this is an okay thing. Then the second episode happened, and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty freaking good. Um, I also, I'm a sucker for K-pop, so like I love the opening and ending. You agree? Yeah. I I'm really enjoying it so far. And I do sort of feel like a lot more women are gonna watch it than men do. As for me, I watch just about everything, so I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna check it out," and I did, and I'm enjoying it. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen here. The next one on Fridays that I absolutely freaking love is Fire Force. This episode, we focused on Benny Maru and his past with Hibachi and how he didn't know how to use the Nichirin technique, but then he ended up learning it and used it against the doppelganger of Hibachi to defeat him and basically, put his soul to rest. So this was a really freaking good episode. I love the fight. I love the backstory we got. The kid that freaking killed Hibachi, bro. Like that was insane. I'm assuming he stabbed him like right where like his freaking kidneys are or something. Benny Maru cooked. Yes, he did. I loved it, man. He is so OP, and Fire Force is actually so tough. Yeah, it's that and Freerun are gotta be my favorites this season. I love both of them. I love Fridays for this season. And with Fire Force, um, I've had arguments with some people against this who say the writing's bad and stuff like that. I think the writing is incredible. Everything that we're finding out right now is so cool, and how they tease us at the end of the episode. This is gonna be a spoiler for those of you who haven't seen it, so you might want to plug your ears. But the moon changed to the Soul Eater moon at the end of the episode. And that is because the adult is coming closer, so everything's starting to change. As we saw in this episode, the waves and everything look like some old like Japanese scroll painting thing. Uh that like it was basically all the people's perception of like how these things look is why it was like blending differently, and like it didn't look like the natural like Fire Force art style that we normally see, as we had seen last part when Shinra fought the other pillar that we had saw there. So yeah, I'm excited to see more. I'm excited to see, because a lot of people that read the manga say like, oh, like they're adapting 88 chapters into 12, 13 episodes, and they adapted 9 chapters in this episode, I believe. So I'm excited to see, because in this episode it didn't feel like that. It felt like the way that it was paced was actually pretty good. It didn't feel rushed. It didn't feel like they put too much from the manga into it to where like it was overwhelming. I think it was done really well, and I'm excited to find out more. I know that the next episode they kind of tease somebody and their past, and it's a woman. I don't know if it's Hibana or if it's Homea, the girl with the crown. I hope it is her, because there's a lot of mystery with her, and I'm very, very excited to see what else is going to happen with her, as they sort of tease her in the outro, how she's like basically walking towards the same direction that Shinra is walking in the opposite direction from the ending song of last part one. So I love the parallels there, and I know Art, you loved that outro and the song by Survive Said the Prophet, which also had the lead singer of Cold Rain in it as well, which I thought was really freaking cool. I'm a big fan of both of those bands, and anytime they do an opening or an outro song, I never skip it, and I add it to my playlist to keep listening to all the time. So yeah, Fire Force for to me is probably between Freerun and Fire Force. Those are my favorites. I don't know which one I like more, but I love both of them, and I cannot wait to see more. So that's it for Fridays. Saturdays, best outro ever. It is really freaking good, man. I really enjoy it. And at first, I didn't even catch that the lead singer of Cold Rain was the one singing it, because I thought it was just by Survive Said the Prophet, and they are just obviously performing the music, but they also do the what do you call like the yelling in like heavy metal? I forget what they call it, like the screaming thing. But they do that while the leader or the lead singer of Cold Rain sings it. So it's a really good outro, and I really like it. Saturdays, Trigon Stargaze. So this was a really sad episode, to be honest. The unclean vocals. Okay, that's what they're called. I thought it was just like the heavy metal scream or whatever it's called. But anyway, Trigon Stargaze. This episode was actually really sad because of, and now I'm gonna forget his name. Oh my gosh, I forget his name. But the character who was taking care of Vash now that he is Eric's. he basically saw the woman that he was taking care of, the blind woman that he had found in July. He Hopper, thank you. He Hopper was taking care of her, and he saw her in Vash when he found him after the whole July incident, was taking care of him the same way, and he knew that he was the reason why she died because she ended up getting caught in the explosion, which was really, really freaking sad. Um, but he knew this, and he still didn't. He could have killed Vash if he wanted to, but he didn't do it because he saw her in him. So that was something that was very interesting, and he was basically forcing him to get his memories back and return back to normal. So he's basically just like, "You need to fight me, or I'm going to kill this Jessica girl," which we knew he wasn't going to. Uh, but yeah, it was something that I think was written really well, and I'm assuming this was in the manga because it was not in the original Trigun. Um, but yeah, I really liked it, and I like how things developed. And of course, it was super sad with basically him forcing Vash to kill him and shoot him in the heart, which was insane. Um, am I forgetting something here? I think there was a scene at the end. Oh yes, okay. Back to Millie and Meryl. They're like driving in the desert or whatever, and they freaking run over a wolfwood, which was funny, but also at the same time, like, damn. So uh I can't wait to see all of them reunite and everything like that. And I have no clue when we're gonna get to Wolfwood's death, because he died in the original. So I don't know when we're getting to that part. Hopefully not for a while, because like we just had this sad episode. I don't want another one anytime soon. But yeah, so like I can't wait to see them all reunite. I think the story's coming together very well. Next, Fate Strange Fate, episode 3. This was done so well. This was one of the best episodes of. If I had to make a top 5, this would be in my top 5. The fight with Jester and Hanzo was incredible. Everything we're finding out about how the now real, what do they call them? Is it heroic servants? Is that what they're called? Quad, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, the Fate episode was fire. Um, Peak Fate, yes, I love Fate. It's, I'm sort of thinking about going back and rewatching Zero and Unlimited Blade Works because there was something that was pointed out, or there was like a similarity between something that happened in this episode and something that happened in Fate Zero, and I don't remember because it's been years since I watched Fate Zero, so I don't remember what it was. Um, but like I like how things are turning out, and I like how we're getting like the real servants from the actual war are coming over, and we saw the real Archer at the end of the episode, and I'm assuming he was targeting Gilgamesh. Um, but to me, it seemed like I don't know what happened here. To me, it seemed like Gilgamesh canceled it and then sent it to the master that was trying to summon Archer, because then he had the letter and he was like, "Are you my master?" And that was how they left us off with a giant cliffhanger. So I'm really freaking excited to find out what's going to happen in the next episode. Um, I can't wait to see more of Saber, and I keep forgetting her name. Ayame, Ayaka, something like that. It might be Ayaka. I keep forgetting her name, bro. But yeah, I'm excited to see more of what's going to happen with that. Next, we got Dead Account. This is actually getting pretty interesting. I do sort of get some um Togen Anki vibes from it a little bit, but I'm thinking that it's actually going to turn out better than that show because I feel like the power system is cooler. Even though the blood power system was cool, but I think the CGI that they used for when they did it just made it, kind of eh. And also like the characters I don't think were written well at all in Togen Anki and stuff like that. But it's too soon to say whether or not the characters and how they're written are in this. Blue Exorcist and Togen Anki vibes. Yeah, I get that as well. We're already getting the fact that like he's going into this school of these people. So many damn side characters. Yeah, there's way too many. Like, what? I don't know about you, Quad, but like for me, whenever there's something to where a bunch of characters get introduced at once and they show us all their names, I don't even like. Yeah, like you're supposed to remember names. I don't pay attention to that part because I'm like I'm gonna forget their names anyway. So I don't know how if Quad or anyone else like how you feel about that, but like to me when they do that, I'm just like, maybe I'll remember their names later. Yeah, it's not a good sign either. Yeah, because it's just like, how can you unless someone watches it over and over again or writes them down or something, How do you expect all these people to memorize these characters' names when you give us like 10 at once? Like what? Like, I will say the one girl, I like her character design. I like the purple. It's the purple girl. I like her character design. She looks badass, and I'm excited to see her power. I'm excited to see all their the purple hair. I'm excited to see all their powers and stuff like that. But yeah, so who was the teacher that or the prince it was the principal. The principal stepped in, and she's pretty hot, not gonna lie. But so she stepped in, and I think did she stop the fight or was it the guy that's like pretty goofy? I think he might have stopped the fight. But yeah, so like, it was a good episode. I actually liked it a lot more than I did. And Silva, if you're still in here, if you watched episode 2, because I know you were gonna watch it, um, what did you think of the episode? Because I know you reacted to episode 1, and then I was like, "Oh, like, did you watch 2?" And you said you were gonna watch it. I don't know if you have yet or not. Um, but yeah, I like this episode. I'm excited for more. Scum of the Brave episode 2. The only thing I like fully remember from this is that it was super gory. That's all I really remember. I know that they like infiltrated like was it a castle or whatever it was? They infiltrated that building and cut down all these guys. And the one girl was like already in there fighting, but then she came out and he like picked her up and like threw her down the end when she reveals her ether. Oh, okay, yeah. Honestly, dude, I'm not the I'm not the biggest fan of this one so far. So for me, it's kind of just one that I watch and then forget, to be honest. So I might have to rely on you, I should say, for the information about it because I'm gonna forget it. But the one girl was basically like in there fighting. She comes out and he like picks her up and like throws her down to the ground. It was basically saying like you don't belong here. Like you shouldn't be fighting. Um, that's all I really remember, to be honest. It's I don't know, maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10 for me. I don't really care about it that much, but I don't hate it enough to drop it. The designs are pretty cool. I do like the designs. I know it's by the same creator as Sentence to Be Hero, so I don't know if he also drew them as well, or he or she. I actually don't know the author if it's a male or female, but if they also drew the characters, I'm not sure. But yeah, I do like the character designs from that. The last one is the Mythanthrope one. This one I feel like I don't even need to talk about. It's just one that I'm watching to put on. I feel like a lot of people are they're gonna drop it or not even start it. Actually, I feel like a lot of people aren't even gonna watch it, which I don't blame them at all. It is kind of weird. Yeah, I don't blame you for not watching it. It's whatever. So I kind of just put it on and put it on. So that's it for Saturdays. Sundays, In the Clear Moonlit Dusk. This was the first one I watched yesterday. I love this one. I like the relationship between Yoi and Ichimura. And dude, his confidence needs to be studied because he is constantly flirting. Yeah, he's constantly flirting with her, and he's. I guess you could look at it as like, oh, he might be a little bit too forward, but I actually like his confidence. I like how he is basically letting his feelings be known to her, and she's not used to being treated like that as a woman. It is amazing. Yeah, she's not used to being treated as a woman because she looks and sounds like a boy, so she's been treated that way her whole life. And I like how he is the one person that is treating her differently. I really like that. I love, when they were walking home together and stuff. I love the freaking dad, dude. The dad was the wingman. It was like, hey, like, this guy can walk you home. I don't think it's Ford. He's just blunt and doesn't feel the need to play yeah, yeah. He's questioning himself. Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, depending on how people perceive it, it could be like too forward. I don't perceive it that way. I just perceive it as he's confident and he tells her how it is. I'm loving it so far. Same with Polar Opposites. Yes, that'll be the fourth one from Sundays I discuss. So we'll get to that in a sec, bro. But I'm loving this one. Was he into her as a guy or a girl though? Yeah, I know he mentioned about how he was curious about that. And then his one friend was like, "No, that's just you being horny," or something like that. It seems like he doesn't trust anyone due to the whole "I'm being rich." Oh, okay. He saw her as a girl. As a girl. Okay. I was leaning more towards that, but I understand Quad's question because, like I said, the one friend was like, basically just saying like, "Oh, like that just means you're horny because you're curious to find out like what's underneath her clothes or whatever he said." I kinda tuned that part out a little bit. He was trying to figure out why a girl would be passed off as a guy and why no one else going after her. Yeah, I think in that conversation, that's how he ended it, was saying that, like, how could no one else see her as a girl? She is very beautiful. I like I like all the character designs. I think they're, done really well. I do forget the studio, so forgive me for that, but I think they're doing a great job with the animation and the art style. So I'm very excited to find out, what else is gonna happen in the series. The next one, Kaya-chan Isn't Scary. This episode was really good, and we have this guy who, claims to be an exorcist, and somehow he knew Kaya for years, even though she's, like, 4 or 5. I don't know how he knew her. Must've knew her from birth, I guess, or knew her mom or something. But basically, he's, like, following her around and stuff and trying to get her attention because he, like, adores, or, like, admires her work as a psychic. And I don't know, to me, I just get, like, pedo vibes from it, to be honest. I said that in my video yesterday. I was like, that's how I perceive it because they're making it seem that way. Like, that's how they basically portrayed his character, was that he was just someone stalking her, and it was really freaking weird. And the one, uh, teacher or caretaker, I keep forgetting if it's a preschool or a daycare, but the one teacher, how that one guy on Insta saw you. Yeah, bro, I don't even know who that was. I actually the only thing about that comment was the screenshot you sent me, because when I went on Instagram, I never saw it. So I don't know who that person was and why they said that crap, but like whatever. I just people are gonna be negative and just say random shit, so I just move on from it. Um, but yeah, so I'm excited to see more of Kai-chan. And like I was saying with the teacher, um, he gave her the business card or whatever, and she was like, "So I'm supposed to call you?" Like, so I don't know where they're heading with that, but I am excited to see more of, Kaya-chan and the other little girl that she befriended who can see the ghosts and stuff like that. I'm excited to see more of them, and I'm excited to see more of the mom because we have a lot of mystery with her and, like, was she always, that way? I don't think so. Maybe she died and her spirit is in the room or whatever. I don't know exactly, but I'm excited to find out, when they reveal it. Hell's Paradise season 2, episode 2. This was a really freaking good episode. We got the fight with Gabimaru and Chobe in the beginning. Chobe's brother got involved, kind of stopping Chobe from being, out of his mind and stuff like that. And then Gabimaru was like, "Yo, like this is my chance," and he attacked him and like chucked a freaking rock at his head. And I thought he was gonna lose consciousness, but as he's like falling down because the little girl May, she like split the ground to basically stop the fight. As he's falling down, he like said something to his brother. I was like, how did the rock not knock him out? We got more Yuzuriha in her new dress. Yeah, she looks good, bro. This episode is how you can do action in one part and a great explanation in the other. Yeah, I think they did a really good job balancing that. And there's this whole thing of like, oh, is his wife um are you laughing at me saying she looked good? There's this whole thing of like his wife, and they were like, "Oh, like she's just an illusion." And to me, I was like, I saw some other reactors, and they were like, "Oh, like is that true?" And for me, I was like, I don't think that's true." Unlike the other, okay, yeah, I'm not even, I'm not even gonna read that comment. I know you didn't like the JJK episode, but the whole thing with the wife was like, to me, I didn't believe it. I don't believe that she's fake. I believe that she's real because of how Gabimaru, um, yeah, she's not an illusion. I don't believe that for 1 second because the way that he thinks of her and stuff like that, yeah, she's real. Yeah, there's no way she's not. I just saw that like some people were thrown off by it, and I was like, there's no way she's not real. Um, so I'm excited to find out more. And then they tease us at the very end, with Chobe and one of the plant guys. Action without blurry, undefined nonsense too. Who knew? Pretty plausible to bring it up though. Which part? You talking about the comparing this to JJK? Is that what you mean? I was just saying because I know your stance on it, so I was gonna move on from it. But yeah, if you guys, his wife being dead, Oh, I got you, I got you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's definitely, plausible to bring up. I just think the whole thing of, like, how someone was like, uh, she's a I forget which one of them said it, but they were like, "She's just an illusion." I was like, "Yeah, I don't think so." But the plant guy with the purple hair at the end, they tease us with him, excuse me, confronting Chobe. So I'm assuming next episode we see them fight, and I'm excited to see that. Um, all right, Chris, we got you and I are polar opposites. Episode 2. I think everyone in here, I think we all love this one. Uh, Art described it as disgustingly cute or something like that. um, so yeah, I'm loving it. I love how the progression is not taking its time. I love how they're actually uh moving forward with how they feel. Polar opposites is amazing. Yeah, I love it. Quad, yes, before you say, I do need to watch the dub. Uh when I react, I do sub. That it makes it a little bit easier for me. That's why I do that. But I will check out the dub at some point. I've seen clips, so I really like what I've heard so far, and I'm excited to see what happens with their relationship. Get on the dub, bro. It's so good. I will for sure. It is so freaking good in dub, y'all. Yeah, I definitely will. Definitely will. Horrifyingly, disgustingly cute. That's how you described it. Okay. um, like I said, I love. Oh, as a father of teenage daughters, they really do think this way. Oh, okay. I wouldn't know. So, but that's interesting. That I guess like they're constantly like, oh, like I see this guy, like I'm like obsessed with him, sort of thing. I love the squealies. The squealies are cute and funny. I really like how much she is into him and how much he's into her, but like it's not as obvious because he has a very shy personality. So like he doesn't like let his feelings be known too much. But yeah, I'm excited to see more of their relationship. I'm excited to see them go on more dates. And we haven't really seen too much of the other characters, so I can't say too much about that. Being nervous to eat in front of Tani because she doesn't want to break the illusion. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious, and that's some real stuff. Yeah, that's another thing. They make it very realistic, and how the inner monologue is perfect. Yeah, I love when characters are like thinking in their own heads, and they're like, they always mistaken how the other person thinks of them. But let's go with the best line ever. What's the best line ever, Casey? But yeah, I like how like they're in their own heads about how like they will perceive them. Flavor over flirting. Okay, yeah, that was a good line. That was a really good line. I like how nonchalant Tani is because like as the title says, they're polar opposites. Like their personalities are literally polar opposites of each other. I wouldn't call him shy; just a very reserved person. The Goodle search part was hilarious. Yeah, I cracked up at the Goodle part of it and how what did he look up? He was like girlfriend conversations or something like that. And then he tries to run away, and she's like, "No." She's like, "That makes me really happy how you like think of me even when we're not together." So yeah, it's so cute, and I freaking love it, dude. It's my favorite rom com of the season. Um, I love the music throughout the episode. I think there's been a couple of times where like the music sort of sounds like Mario Party or something, like Mario World or whatever. Like I don't know, it's just like so like cool and like it fits the vibe perfectly. So yeah, it's my favorite, and I'm excited to see more of you and I are polar opposites. Hanakimi episode 4. Oh, and the friends, like you said, are just great. Yeah. So I pointed that out in episode 1 of how like all their friends are like supportive, and they're like, "Yo, like this how you feel? Like like chase them." I love that. I love how like they basically like helped her realize like, hey, like I can go find him and talk to him and confess my love. So that was really cool. All the feels for real, so freaking healthy. Yeah, it's super healthy. I love their friendship and the relationships they all have. So Hanakimi episode 4. Okay, this episode was actually crazy because in a sense, something similar to how fast that episode of Hana was hilarious. It was really, really funny. And like I was saying, something that is almost in terms of the progression of how fast Polar Opposites is moving. Excuse me. We had what's his name? Suna or Sona? He gets drunk because there was like alcohol brought to the party they were having, and he drinks it. He's in the room, and she comes in, and then he kisses her. Now the only thing is, I feel like what's gonna happen is that he's not gonna remember it because he's drunk. So it's not gonna be a thing of like, oh, now they both realize they like each other. It's gonna be a thing of like, oh shit, this happened. So now what happens? Because they have the whole thing of like he knows she's a girl, but she doesn't know that he knows. So it's this whole thing of like they're basically hiding the truth from each other in a sense. And I really like that because it creates more drama between them, and I really like it a lot. So I'm excited to see more and how things are going to develop between them. And I think the comedy's great, like Chris said. Um, the romance is developing at a good pace. I feel like, and I want to see more of the her friend from the states, bro. The blonde chick, she is bad as hell. I'm trying to see more of her because they barely showed her so far in freaking 4 episodes. Which I know, I know she's not even the main focus, but it's just like I want to see more of her on my screen. So, uh, but yeah. How do you guys feel about Hanakimi's like pacing so far? Like, do you think it's doing a good job, or do you think it's moving too fast, moving too slow? Like, what do you guys think? Which I think that is the last, no, second to last rom com. Oh, you haven't watched it yet? Oh, okay. I really like it. I think it's pretty good. Um, I like how she came all the way from the States over to Japan just because she wanted to see him. And now she's like blending in with the boys' school, cutting her hair and stuff like that. And the one blonde guy, he, so I don't know, this is a whole thing of like, it's a little confusing because he thinks that she's a guy, but he's like, getting those feelings of like, oh, I like this person. So like he keeps saying like she's so, or he's so girlish because she is a girl, but he doesn't realize that. He's basically just going like, "Oh, like why do I think this way about a guy?" So it's pretty freaking funny. Um, and they haven't really like they kind of like tease that here and there. They kind of throw that in the episodes. It's going pretty well so far, and the dub is good in my opinion. Okay, I haven't been watching the dub of that either. That's the thing. I love dub, but I think once I started making content, I focused more on sub. And not saying, that doesn't mean I like dub any less, but I just watch sub more now. Like if I were to binge something, which I'm currently doing Baka and Test right now, I'm watching the dub because it's something I can binge and the whole dub is out. But for something that's coming out week to week, most of them I do sub, even if there is a dub. Some of them, if I end up rewatching an episode, which I normally don't do, but if I will, then I might switch to the dub for the second time that I watch it because I already watched it in sub. So yeah, that was it for that one. Kunan the Sorcerer Can See episode 4. Like I was pointing out earlier, like the beginning of the live, this episode was my favorite one so far, and I actually found the comedy pretty funny. Got to put up that facade of you being a sub only elitist. Yeah, some people like this in animation. People like because of certain stuff I've said, like with T-bait and stuff like that. Which I don't know why anyone would argue with me against this, but when I was pointing out the animation, that's why I dropped it. And not only that, but also a couple of other things about it. But they were just like, "Oh, I didn't know you were an animation elitist as well." I'm like, "Bro, I'm not. Like, it's just some animations I don't want to look at because it's not pleasing to the eye. Like, I don't want to watch it." But anyway, that's another topic. But Kunan the Sorcerer Can See, like I was saying, the comedy in this, the comedy in this episode was actually funny to me. I know that like Quad, you thought it was pretty funny in the beginning. But for me, it was just like a miss with the comedy until now. I think it might have been because of the his teacher in this episode. She was actually really funny, and she made his lessons and stuff like that like very enjoyable. Um, so yeah, and also the part where I forget what they did, but it was like I don't know, did they hit something or whatever, and the whole like class like apologized, even the teacher, like they all apologized to whoever it was. I forget who it was already, but they all apologized to him, and I thought that was hilarious. So I am looking forward to the next episode. Again, it's not one that I enjoy the most, but I definitely don't hate it by any means. So I am looking forward to episode 5. Noble Reincarnation, episode 3. I actually did enjoy this episode a lot more than the first two, and mainly because of the whole like he had a duel with his brother, and then he fought aristocrats or whatever they are. He fought some people with the sword near the end of the episode, and we didn't focus too much on the political stuff because sometimes the political stuff can be interesting, but sometimes it can be boring, and I don't want to focus too much on it. So it's like if we kind of have a balance of the political stuff along with maybe some action here and there, then I enjoyed it a little bit more. So I did kind of like this episode. Episode 3 of Journal with Witch. Okay, the main focus of this episode was her childhood friend, or just her friend. The I think they did grow up together, but her best friend. She told her mom about what happened to her parents and how they died. And so her mom like called the school and now like everybody knows. And she was like so upset by that. I thought that was a really good episode. Yeah. It was actually really good because like I said, she tells her mom, the mom calls the school, they're all like finding out and she's like, why did you do this? I hate you. She runs away, goes back home. I'm gonna start that at some point. Anime Indulger keeps pestering me. You should. It's really good. It's a very um emotional slice of life. Like there's some psychology in there, and like I said, drama. So like there's some good stuff in it. A lot of people have actually been hyping it up. I'm actually kind of surprised at how many people have been saying they really like it. Because I like it, but I don't love it. But it is pretty good. So I'm excited to see more of that. And the whole thing with her best friend, like they ended up calling each other after, and was basically like, "I actually don't hate you. I was just like mad in the moment or whatever." Uh, so yeah, I like how things are developing between her and between her aunt, and how they're like slowly, getting more familiar with each other and becoming closer to living together and stuff like that. So I'm excited for the next episode. So that's it. Sundays. Today's the last day. MHA Vigilante season 2, episode 3. This was a really good episode, and so we got All Might a little bit in the beginning, but the main thing I wanted to discuss about this episode that I really really liked was how it was stuff with the trigger, and how basically six they feel like he was his quirks like came like he's enhanced more because like he can do everything like within a second was because of the trigger. And as we know, he's working with the trigger. Oh, Art, you don't like vigilantes? uh but as we know, he's working with the trigger, right? And he works for who we can safely assume is All for One, because we hear his voice again. And my thing was, I had a theory because we found out that he was the student of O'Clock, which was basically like the Flash in this series. Um, so basically, we found out that he was the student, and I had a theory that he was given the quirk from All for One, because if he works under him, I'm sort of thinking more on O'Clock next episode or two, depending on how they pace it. Okay, I am curious about him. The only reason, so I know you pointed out earlier, like how I focused on All Might. The only reason I focused on him in like my thumbnail and title and stuff like that was because more people are gonna click on the video than if I just put this O'Clock guy that nobody knows. And I thought it was the best part of the episode with the O'Clock in six part, but All Might is what people know, so that's why I did that. But anyway, O'Clock, I'm excited to see more. And the whole thing, did I finish saying the theory? The theory was that All for One took his quirk and gave it to Six, and that's how he has it. Because as Sukachi pointed out, or was it Aizawa? It might have been it was one of them when they had their meeting. They pointed out how O'Clock has not been renewing his hero's license or something like that. Like he basically retired, and I feel like that's because he lost his power due to the fact that All for One took it and gave it to Six. That's my theory. Okay, I am right. Okay, so yeah, that's what I was assuming because they made it too obvious to where because they made it clear that they were not the same person. Okay, I am right. So yeah, I like how they're doing that because that's another thing that makes it uh make like lets you know that All for One is that voice. Like obviously you could just listen to it and tell like yeah that's the same voice, but for maybe some people didn't haven't figured it out, or vigilantes is their first look into the MHA world, they don't know his voice, so they're kind of just thinking I hit the nail on the head. Okay, well feel a little bit smarter now than I did. But yeah, so um, I'm excited to see more of this because now that they're actually focusing on the main plot, and yes, I know Koichi and Pop Step are part of the main plot, but so far to me, the way that they've been written, I haven't cared for. I'm starting to get a little bit more interested in Koichi because of more surprises after that, though. Ooh, okay. I'm excited to see more surprises. But Koichi's starting to grow on me just a little bit because he's actually like, learning more of his quirk and he's applying it, and I think that's really cool. One thing I wanted to ask you guys, excuse me, was so this scene confused me why he was even in it. It was a scene where Koichi and Pop Step, so Koichi's like on the wall or whatever, trying to tell these karate guys with like helmets on their heads or whatever they were to like leave, and they wouldn't leave, and they shot like a bunch of missiles at him or whatever. They like hovered over Pop Step and was saying like a bunch of weird stuff to her. And then later on, Koichi and Pop Step, the next thing we see, they're in Koichi's like house or his little complex or whatever the frick he's in, right? So like that confused me. I was like, why was that other scene even in there? Because they didn't even show what happened. Like who took those guys out? I'm assuming maybe Pop Step got like pissed and just took them out herself. But like they didn't show that. And I was like, well, maybe it's in the manga, or maybe Quad, of course, Chris or anyone else would know uh about that scene, but that scene like made no sense to me why it was even in the episode. Because like I said, at the end they're just back at his place and they didn't show what happened. So I don't know. That was the only thing I didn't like about the episode, but everything else was like really good. And as we're finding out more about the trigger and about six and O'clock and all for one and everything like that, I'm excited to see what else is going to happen. Watched it all the way, episode 3. Again, I still like this show. I think it's still been wholesome to me. I know there's a little bit of fan service in there thrown in there. But I like how things are progressing, and her one friend basically teased the boy. It was like, don't go falling for her, which I think we all know it's going to happen, but we don't know when. And I know that some people that throws them off because of the age gap. But for me, I'm thinking, oh, like they're going to wait until he's at least of age. So that's why for me, so far, I haven't been like, ew. I've just been like, okay, I don't see this as something that they would do right away. This is something that would like build up. And like once he's an adult, then they get together. But that's how I perceive it. But I'm excited to see more of this one and what else is going to happen. You can't be in a rom com with your childhood friends. Another weird episode, but at the same time, like there's something about it that like makes me laugh, and that's why I'm still watching it because like I don't hate it. So like I want to keep watching because it's very funny, and it's one of those things that they're just getting more closer and closer to realizing their feelings for each other, and I don't know. I guess I could see this as like a he ends up with both of them sort of thing. I don't know. um, but yeah, we'll see what happens in that. Tis time for Torture Princess season 2, episode 2. This is the last one. Um, I literally watched it like an hour and a half ago, and man, I cannot remember for the life of me. Probably because my mind is just filled with all these other animes. Um, damn, what did? Oh, okay, okay. So we saw her old friend from the kingdom, and she like infiltrated the castle and stuff like that, but then she got caught, and then they ended up doing the same thing to her that they did with the MC. Um, and there was this one scene. I'm trying to remember the context of it, but I remember she like took the sword and did this move called Royal Flash. And then at the end of the episode, they showed that the butler of all people from the kingdom taught her that move because he like cut down a boulder with the Royal Flash move, and I thought that was really freaking interesting. It's always like those same thing with easygoing territory defense. It's always those characters that are like a butler, like you wouldn't expect them to be super strong, and they are, and that's really freaking cool because the way that those characters are written to the outside eyes, you wouldn't think that they're strong, but then like once you actually watch it and see them, they actually are strong. So that's something I really like. But yeah, that was it for week 3. Like I said, this is only covering 6 days because I shifted it to Mondays because Mondays is a lot lighter day than Tuesdays. You're missing out on the best Monday release, young man. See, I'm not caught up on Golden Kamuy. That's the only reason I'm not watching the new season. Um, I haven't actually like watched it, but I know you love it, and I know it's very funny. and one day I will get to it. Um, you disappoint me. I just remember so a friend of mine and I started it, and because we like don't really hang out much anymore, like I don't know, is it like I started with somebody and then we don't really see each other that much as often as we used to, so it's like we don't really uh have time to meet up and watch it. But we did start. I think we watched the first episode like a couple years ago. But I like I said, I will eventually get to it. But I apologize that I'm not covering it during the winter season. Um, but yeah, so week 3, this was just 6 days. Next week, hoping to do this every Monday, and I'm hoping 12 p.m. I can do it the same time every day. Um, I love the intro more after Attic singing for us. I forget how it goes, but I remember I was hitting those high notes. So, yeah, I'm excited for this season, man. This season's really, really good. And like I said, I feel like it's the most stacked season possibly ever. And yeah, I'm excited to see what else is going to happen. So, man, this was a really good turnout. I appreciate all you guys joining me, being in the chat. You guys are fucking awesome. And I'm glad that you guys are my friends and we can talk about anime together. Yeah, I was hitting them high notes. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. And again, Mondays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm hoping to do this every week. So hopefully you guys can join me for that. If you're watching this after it was live, if you could like this video, comment your favorite animes, share this video. If you're seeing this and you're not subscribed to the channel, hit a subscription. I think we actually have gained a couple subs from the past couple lives I've done. W Live, bro. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. And yeah, so thank you guys so much. And I will see you guys next week.